Multiple drivers, one move, complete chaos. What Joey Logano did at Phoenix didn't just wreck cars, it wrecked race strategies, championship hopes, and now the entire NASCAR garage is heated. Drivers are speaking out, teams are demanding answers, and NASCAR, they're reviewing it. This is the story, and at Pit Lane Insiders, we're breaking it all down, right now. Races like the one we just saw at Phoenix don't just end when the checkered flag drops. Sometimes the real story starts after, in the garage, in the interviews, in the conversations happening behind closed doors where cameras don't always follow. And right now, the NASCAR garage is on fire. Something happened during Sunday's race at Phoenix Raceway that has multiple drivers speaking out, teams demanding answers, and fans arguing all week long. A move that didn't just affect one driver, it triggered a chain reaction that changed the outcome of the race entirely. But that's not the only story coming out of Phoenix. Because while the controversy is exploding inside the garage, the Cup Series championship picture just shifted in a very interesting way. The points battle is already taking shape much earlier than most people expected. Two massive NASCAR stories. Both of them matter for the rest of this season. Before we get into it, hit that like button and subscribe to Pit Lane Insiders. We're a brand new channel working toward our first 1,000 subscribers. If you want honest NASCAR conversations with zero fluff, you're in the right place. Let's go. Let's start with the moment that has the entire NASCAR garage talking. The crash at Phoenix Raceway. If you watched the race, you know exactly what we're talking about. Things were already getting intense out there. Phoenix is one of those tracks where track position is everything. Drivers are fighting for every inch, patience disappears fast, and the margins between a great move and a disaster are razor thin. Then it happened. Joey Logano made an extremely aggressive move in traffic, trying to gain position in a tight pack of cars. But the move didn't just affect one driver. It triggered a chain reaction that collected multiple cars and completely changed the outcome of the race for several teams. Elliott, Daniel Suarez, Josh Berry, all of them caught up in the wreck, all of them suffering significant damage. For those teams, their race was basically over in that single moment. And when drivers got back to the garage, the frustration came out fast. One of the most vocal voices after the race was Chastain. And if you follow NASCAR closely, you know Chastain doesn't shy away from saying exactly what he thinks. After the race, Chastain made it very clear that in his opinion, that move crossed a line. He said hard racing is expected at Phoenix. That's normal. That's NASCAR. But he believes that move went beyond aggressive and entered the territory of flat-out irresponsible. His words, that move put several drivers in a terrible position and ruined multiple teams' days. And he didn't stop there. He actually suggested NASCAR should take a serious look at it. Ross wasn't the only one. Allmendinger also weighed in after the race. And his criticism focused on something drivers care deeply about: awareness and respect on the track. His point was straightforward. Everyone out there is fighting for position. That's racing. That's expected. But there's still supposed to be a level of respect between drivers, especially when the field is packed together in heavy traffic. When you make a move like that in those conditions, you're not just putting your car at risk. You're putting everyone around you at risk. And that's exactly what happened. This wasn't a two-car incident. This was the kind of wreck that rippled through the field and left multiple teams shaking their heads in the garage. Here's where things get important. As of right now, NASCAR has not announced any disciplinary action against Joey Logano. No penalty, no ruling. But officials did confirm the crash will be reviewed as part of NASCAR's standard post-race evaluation process. And if you've watched this sport long enough, you know that doesn't automatically mean a penalty is coming. Sometimes NASCAR reviews these situations and ultimately decides it was just aggressive racing, part of the game. But here's why this story is getting so much attention. When multiple drivers, not just one, start publicly calling for NASCAR to review a move, that changes the conversation. That puts real pressure on the sport to respond. And with emotions still running high inside the garage, this Phoenix crash is guaranteed to be the biggest talking point heading into the next Cup Series race. At Pit Lane Insiders, we'll be watching this closely, because how NASCAR handles this moment says a lot about where the sport draws the line between hard racing and dangerous racing. Now, while all that drama was playing out on track and in the garage, the NASCAR Cup Series standings just told a very interesting story after the Straight Talk Wireless 500 at Phoenix. Tyler Reddick is still leading the Cup Series standings, sitting at 225 points. He finished 8th at Phoenix, which snapped his 3-race winning streak. But despite not winning, his consistency has kept him firmly at the top. And here's what makes his position even more impressive. He currently sits 127 points ahead of 17th place. That's a massive cushion this early in the season. But the big move in the standings came from the race winner. Ryan Blaney held off Christopher Bell to take the win at Phoenix, and that victory pushed Blaney all the way up to 2nd place in the overall standings. Behind him, Bubba Wallace sits 3rd, Chase Elliott 4th, and Shane Van Gisbergen holds 5th, which is honestly one of the more fascinating storylines of the season so far. Christopher Bell and Joey Logano are both sitting close with the same points margin, showing just how tight the fight is in that section of the standings. Then, you've got Michael McDowell, Chris Buescher, and Kyle Larson rounding out the top 10. William Byron, Denny Hamlin, A.J. Allmendinger, Carson Hocevar, Ty Gibbs, and Brad Keselowski currently make up the rest of the top 16, the positions that sit above the playoff cut line right now. And here's where it gets tight. Daniel Suarez sits just 2 points outside the cut line at 17th. 2 points, that's it. One bad race, one wreck like the one we saw at Phoenix, and everything changes. Further down the standings, drivers like Ryan Preece, Zane Smith, Kyle Busch, Ross Chastain, Riley Herbst, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Austin Dillon, Josh Berry, and others are all trying to claw their way back toward playoff contention. Here's the thing about moments like this, and this is what Pit Lane Insiders is built to break down. One aggressive move at Phoenix didn't just wreck a few cars. It potentially shifted championship trajectories. Drivers who got caught in that crash lost valuable points, positions they may spend weeks trying to recover. And when you combine race controversies with a points battle already this tight this early in the season, you start to see how quickly everything can change. That's the reality of NASCAR in 2026. One moment can ignite a rivalry. One finish can reshape the championship. And with drivers still clearly frustrated coming out of Phoenix, don't be surprised if the tension carries straight into the next race. Because in NASCAR, when emotions run high in the garage, things get very interesting very quickly. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Logano's move at Phoenix crossed the line? Or was it just hard NASCAR racing? Should NASCAR hand down a penalty? And looking at the standings right now, can Tyler Reddick hold this points lead? Or is Ryan Blaney about to make a serious run at the top? Drop your answer in the comments. Let's talk about it. If this breakdown was worth your time, smash that like button. And subscribe to Pit Lane Insiders for honest, no-filter NASCAR coverage every single week. We're building something real here, a community of fans who want the full story. Not just the highlights, the controversy, the politics, the moments that actually shape this sport. That's Pit Lane Insiders, and we're just getting started.